My next guest tonight here on the Mixtape, all my mixtapers out there, is joining me, another international guest joining the show this evening. I'd like everybody to welcome from just outside of London, small town, maybe not so small, from Buckinghamshire. This is Tony Goff, who is of Tony Goff and the Broken Colors. Hey, thank you for joining me tonight.
Hello there. Thanks for having us, Punky.
Oh, it's awesome to have you. Really, really excited. Tell me a little bit about your band. I've gotten a good chance to listen through your Spotify and listen to your discography so far. But tell everybody watching a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm like you said, I'm Tony Goff of the Tony Goff and the Broken Colors. It didn't always start out that way. I was once all on my lonesome back in the day, doing my own solo gigs with the guitar, and it sort of kicked off a little bit. I won a few competitions, and then it was like, you need to do a gig for us. And I was like, oh God, I need a band. So got some musicians in, and they were the founding members. They were with me 5 years. 7 years down the line, I do have some new members with me now, but it's still the same band, and it's going strong.
Well, that's good to hear. So, how long have the Broken Colors been together?
The whole band, 7 years.
So 7 years all together now. And so that would mean about 2 years ago, you kind of went through restructuring with the lineup?
Yes, about just under that. It was, restructure, yes. So basically come to a point where they've been me along, boys, they wanted to find their own passions and their own dreams, which is fair enough. And they went their separate ways, and the brand and band continued.
Oh, absolutely. And, sometimes that happens, and, and it's, no offense to the other members staying, but sometimes people just need to go on and explore different avenues, and that absolutely happens. So, what kind of music do you guys make?
Well, it's a funny one, right? I've always struggled with this, and I can tell you a funny story actually, which just happened right now on the PR campaign we're doing. So I would say it started off in indie rock, sort of punkish when I was younger, and then it slightly evolved into indie punk sort of. Indie sort of rock sort of thing. So a bit more. It's matured through the day. So now I'd say it's indie rock with a bit of funk and a bit of soul in it as I'm getting older. But the funny thing, the other day I got an email back from a company, not going to name the company, and they said, "Oh, we can't feature this because we don't believe the genre you're saying is what the song is. We believe the song should be classified as classic rock," which I laughed at. I was like, all right, that's your opinion. I said, cheers. I see you as a kid listening to the song, but and that's the story for you.
Oh my God, that's really funny, and it's hard, and it's hard when you're a fusion band. But to me personally, those are the types of bands that I look for, and what really stood out to me about you guys is that you do have these rock. Listen to some of the early stuff, some more of some punk influence on there. But now, like you said, you evolved. You're getting a little bit older. You're adding elements of soul and funk into it, which is something that we haven't seen here yet on the mixtape, which got me excited because I've always been a massive fan of both of those genres. How did that evolution happen? Tell me a little bit how you came to be from your earlier punk influences to where you are now.
Well, I suppose as a when I was real young, in my teens and my earlier 20s, I was a bit more energetic, a bit more rock, a bit more full on, But I've always admired, I've always loved singing, right? And you only can, I suppose, you experiment, you're versatile, and it's very, very fun. It's great fun to sing funk and soul, and you can reach sort of, reach areas that you haven't before, and it's so much fun for me to sing this, and I've just found this out in the later years that I think I prefer singing this way, I suppose, And with the music, I suppose it evolves as well, because it's in a sense like when you were younger, you might have liked a certain punk band which you won't listen to anymore because it sound like a kid's band, whatever. You know what I mean? It's sort of like that, really. Just growing up.
Absolutely. And that that happens. I've seen a lot of bands take that evolution where they start off with a little bit of a harder edge, and it's that like I said, that discredit to what they're doing, but they evolve into something a little bit more. One band that I think of out of the United States, I don't know if you're familiar, is the band Thrice.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, see, exactly, and what phenomenal band, and just watching their evolution over the years, and it's kind of comparable to the journey, and listening to the Elements. If I had to make a comparison to some of your early stuff, that's kind of what it reminded me of, is some of the things that Thrice was doing here in the States.
I heard their early stuff actually, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Definitely check it out. Thrice is a phenomenal band, and not that they've gone the funk soul way, but they've just talking about how, willing to take a risk, try something new, and kind of have, a true evolution. And definitely can see that in your journey as well.
Yeah, you have to be true to yourself and true to what you believe in as a musician, or, you're never going to make something that sells, you have to enjoy it, don't you?
Well, exactly. You got to have fun with what you're doing, and remember that you're writing music for yourself first and foremost, Yeah. And if you're in it just to write for the audience, then you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. And those bands tend to fall off,
Exactly. You're completely right.
I think, people, they want an honest connection. They want to be able to actually feel that, what is being said to them is actually true, and it's coming out of an honest, earnest place. I think it's what I really like about what you're doing with the Broken Colors here. It's a lot of fun. It's very upbeat. And we're going to check out some of your guys' videos tonight and some of your latest material here on the show. But what I'm always curious about is when you first started, because I'm always curious about the different music scenes throughout the world. What were some of the very first shows like for the Broken Colors when you started? What kind of places did you play, and kind of people did it attract in the early years?
Well, in the early years, as you know, it probably wouldn't be many, but we did. We've always had pretty. I don't know. I've always been hard working, so I will always promote the shows quite well to bring people to. But yeah, it started off. We went in a few competitions, like I said, and I needed bands for. So that was great, and we've done a lot of shows in London to start out with. Obviously, London's a tough one because you got to be bringing the numbers, because it's an expensive place to play to revenue from, and all sorts of reasons. But yeah, we sort of branched out broader, so the more counties close to us, and then we went to a bit of Wales and up north a little bit. Even ventured to Italy and Denmark in the end of it. But yeah, at the start it was good. It's minimal numbers, as you would expect. It was never crazy. We didn't start off with roaring crowds, and even to this day, we sometimes don't have that. But with all shows, I think it's a hit or miss. But as an artist, you've got to put in the effort as much as the promoter. Vice versa, if you've got a good team going on, you could have a cracking show. After this coronavirus, I hope we all can really push back, push it back and get the music industry to what it was.
Well, absolutely, and it's definitely a hurting industry. All around, some of my favorite places in the Northeast have been shutting down, and I know other places are in that same spot as well. And it's looking, a lot of those kind of what we call here in the States a dive bar, or a dive venue, a small, local owned, with places with the best character. And it's better than your big corporate venues. I'll take a dive bar that holds 60 people over an arena any day. Those shows are far more intimate, and you can connect, on a deeper level with your audience, in my opinion.
I agree. I love them, and I love them shows completely. Yeah.
And it's hard, a lot of those places, as we, mom and pop, they're self-owned, and the shutdowns have been detrimental to them, and it's hard to see, a lot of people are, dealing with the repercussions of it, but it's good to see that, I know a lot of bands have rallied behind some of them and started Kickstarters for some of the more reputable dive bars. I know that good, very near and dear one to me is Great Scott in Allston, Brighton, Massachusetts. I know you won't be familiar, but it's a very beloved venue. Thousands of bands have played there throughout the years. I know that there's a campaign going on to help maintain them. If you go over to the Great Scott, check their Facebook out. There's information there on raising money for it, and they're just one of many places that are currently in this spot. Are there any places around you that are kind of having that same effect right now?
Yeah, yes, a lot actually. And one of my dear friends actually a radio station that or supports local bands around the area, and they're really good and have been for years. Basically, they're in fear of being brought out by a conglomerate and all been made redundant. So that's another problem going on at the moment in the local scene. But yeah, all the venues are shutting. This is before the pandemic; they were shutting down. So the next problem is which ones can reopen.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Well,
we're hoping, hoping all of them. That would be great in a perfect world.
Yeah, let's hope. I was going to say on a funny note, at least some of these venues can keep a 2 meter distance, because at some of my gigs they definitely can.
I've definitely played some shows that were what's the word I'm looking for? Non-intended social distance.
Yes, exactly. It's part of being a musician. You have to do this, but you have to do the lows to get the highs, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. And not everyone's going to be, a perfect time. And then that happens, it happens to all musicians. There are any times that have stood out throughout your time with the Broken Colors that have been, not say the crowd or anything like that, but anything that truly stands out as an oddity as your adventure in a band?
What do you mean? A bit
strange happenings on the road and tour, and just truly unique experiences while doing shows.
Oh yeah, I've got one for you. What do you mean? Do you mean while we're actually performing, or just in general?
In general, it could be on the way to a show, or just your time with the Broken Colors that stands out as a unique and perhaps maybe odd.
Oh, really, really fun time. It just sticks. It always sticks on my head. It's a funny story. When we was on tour in Italy, we had a film crew following us doing a documentary, and they ran me over basically. Yeah. It was parked on this grass, and it was a bit of a tiny verge. It's slightly damp, and somehow they was coming down, and the handbrakes, put the handbrake on. I don't know what happened, and they lost control, and it wasn't at so much speed, but the car landed and squashed me between that and the van, so it landed on my leg, and so I was in shock. So I just thought, I'm fine, yeah, I'm good. So and then like an hour later, my leg's like gone black, like the whole leg's is black.
Oh my god!
I had a show that night. The show went on, though, of course, but
of course,
that was funny. To this day, I'll never forget that. All them people, it's hilarious.
You were almost Tony Goff and the Broken Tonys.
That's completely right. Yeah, that's one of the stories.
Oh. And like you said, you never can plan for those types of moments and things like that. The road, and always brings strange happenings, sometimes good, sometimes unfortunate, which, that's all part of the adventure. It's the ebb and flow. You got to ride the waves, those sort of things.
Okay, I can't, even looking back on it, I think it was kind of funny at the time. It's still funny now, so I'm all good.
Now, oh goodness. So how are things now with the band? What are you currently up to?
Well, we're doing as much as we can, obviously in the lockdown. So, as I mentioned, the band has gone a reshuffle, and we're going through. We've done a lot of recording before the pandemic, but we haven't been gigging with the new members. So we've gone into lockdown, sort of rehearsing from our own houses, and doing a lot for because we've got a release on the way tomorrow. So we're doing a lot of press release and pushing for the release. But yeah, it's been hard to get things planned, but we are planning to be back on the road and tour in March, for example. We've got an EP coming out, so we're working behind the scenes as much as we can. Yeah, we miss the boys because I've seen a couple of them on and off